Okay, let's pull back the curtain on something really massive today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Hey there.
We're taking a proper look inside, the operational heart of Glastonbury.
Yeah, based on that BBC piece covering Emily Eavis's interview on the Sidetrack Podcast.
Exactly. So, our mission here is to really unpack what she revealed, how it's run, the challenges, the big decisions for this year.
That's it. And it's fascinating stuff.
And why should you care about all this? The capacity numbers, the site plans, how they handle money.
Well, because it all directly shapes the experience, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
you're going, or even if you're just interested in how these huge events work.
Right. It's like managing a temporary city, but one that tries really hard not to be, overly corporate.
Totally. It's a pretty unique model. They deliberately focus on things other than just pure profit.
Which creates some interesting tensions, I bet.
For sure. Things we can dig into based on what she said.
Okay, so let's kick off with capacity. What's the headline news there?
Well, the big thing is they've actually decided to sell a few thousand less tickets this year.
Fewer tickets. Really? Why is that?
The stated goal is to try and ease the crowding. See if reducing the numbers slightly can, as she put it, make an impact on some of the busier times.
Okay, so a conscious effort to give people a bit more space.
Seems like it. And the source makes clear, even with fewer tickets, it's still sold out.
Right. But they're running below their actual license capacity, which is, what, 210,000?
Yeah, 210,000 total. That includes everyone, fans, staff, performers, the lot.
Okay. But what's this about perception versus reality with the crowds?
Yeah, that was interesting. Emily Eavis apparently asked, 250 Glastonbury staff in a meeting if they thought it was overcrowded last year. And basically no one put their hand up.
Wow. Despite, as she acknowledged, a lot of talk from attendees, or at least some attendees, saying it did feel too packed.
Exactly. So there's a bit of a disconnect there. Or maybe it just depends where you were on site.
Yeah. It shows how tricky managing that huge space must be.
It really does. And it's not just about ticket numbers. They're making physical changes, too. Site management strategies.
Right, I saw that, like making more room in certain areas.
Now, specifically, they've created more audience space at the other stage. That's the second biggest one.
Why there specifically?
Well, she mentioned Charlie XCX is playing Saturday night.
Yeah.
And they're expecting, a massive crowd for her. So, planning ahead.
Got it. Any other spots getting more space?
Yep. Shangri-La, the sort of late-night area, they apparently bought extra land just for that.
Not land, just to expand Shangri-La. Wow.
Shows commitment, doesn't it, to improving that flow?
It certainly does. And it's not just physical space, it's about directing people too.
Right. Urging people to use different routes, explore the whole site, not just follow the main drags.
And this ties into that observation she made about crowd behavior.
Yeah, this was fascinating. She reckons people tend to move more in a herd since the pandemic.
Like, stick together more.
Sort of, yeah. Which makes it even more important, she thinks, to keep reminding people that there are 10 routes to anywhere. Get them to spread out.
That's a really interesting thought, post-COVID behavior impacting crowd dynamics.
It is. And they're using tech to help figure that out, too.
The festival app. How does that help?
Well, people use the app to plan their schedule, right? Flag the artists they want to see.
Yeah, I do that.
So the organizers can see that data in aggregate. They can track which artists are most popular and predict which stages or areas might get super busy at certain times.
Clever. So my plan helps them plan.
Basically, yeah. She said it was really accurate last year and really useful for managing crowds. Helps them anticipate the pinch points.
Okay, smart stuff. Let's switch tracks a bit, the finances, because this is where Glastonbury is really, really different.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the source flags that huge charitable donation from last year, 5.9 million pounds.
Nearly 6 million quid. That's incredible.
She said it was the largest sum we've managed to do, which really says something about their priorities.
It definitely does, especially when you hear their usual financial goal.
Which is, and this is the killer quote, they usually actively try not to make a profit.
You just don't hear that, although they had to adjust that slightly recently.
Yeah, she did say the last couple of years were different because they had that 10 million loss from the COVID cancellations. Had to recover that first.
Understandable. But the core idea remains. It's not profit-driven.
Not at all. And some of the costs are pretty eye-watering, too.
Like the rain contingency.
Yeah, the 1 million price of rain. If it's really wet, they have to spend about an extra £1 million just on things like wood chip for the mud.
Wow. £1,000,000 just for bad weather. Puts it in perspective.
Definitely. And then there's the artist fees.
Right. Did the big headliners get their usual massive paychecks?
Nope. She was clear. They pay stars a lot less than they'd get for, say, their own big stadium show or a Hyde Park gig.
So the artists buy into the ethos, too.
It seems like it. She did say fees have gone up a bit, but still way below top commercial rates. It relies on goodwill.
Which leads to their main aim about the whole festival's foundation, right?
Exactly. She said the whole thing is based on goodwill. And we mentioned they turn down corporate offers all the time.
Yeah, and she felt pretty strongly about selling out, didn't she?
Oh, incredibly strongly. The quote was something like, "Imagine if we tried to sell it out. It would be awful. It would be the end. I'd rather literally die before that happened."
You can't get much clearer than that. It's fundamental to them.
Absolutely. It's just core identity.
Okay, moving on slightly. The source also mentioned the family aspect, the transition.
Right. Michael Eavis passing the day-to-day, running to Emily. And the financial shares in the company officially transferred to her last October.
So it's formally Emily's show now, operationally and financially?
Pretty much, but Michael's still very involved, apparently.
Still keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, she said he's turning 90 in October and is still mentally completely following everything.
That's amazing. And they're planning something for his birthday at the festival.
Looks like it, making it a big birthday moment for him.
Which sounds lovely.
It really does. Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. The little bit of mystery.
Ah, yes. Patchwork. The mystery band on the Pyramid Stage lineup.
Any clues? Did Emily give anything away?
Not the name, obviously, but she did say she'd been working on getting Patchwork for a long time. And planning their appearance took about a year.
A year? For logistics?
Yeah, logistical reasons, she said. Which makes you wonder, doesn't it? Must be complicated.
Definitely suggests it's someone significant or, yeah, logistically tricky. And the rumors.
Well, the source mentioned that secret Glasto account on social media guessed Pulp.
But
Pulp's spokesperson apparently denied it straight away. So the mystery continues. Adds to the fun, I suppose.
it does. Okay, so we've covered a lot there. From, managing crowds, the space, that unique financial setup.
Yeah, the whole goodwill thing, the generational shift, and now this patchwork intrigue. It's clear all these threads, the practical, the financial, the philosophical, they all weave together to create that specific Glastonbury experience.
Absolutely. They shape what happens on the ground for, well, hundreds of thousands of people.
It really is an incredible operation. So maybe a final thought for you to ponder.
Go on.
Given the sheer scale, right? 200,000 plus people, unpredictable weather, safety, all that massive infrastructure. How incredibly difficult must it be to balance all those hard-nosed practicalities with that core ethos of, goodwill and non-commercialism?
Mm-hmm.
What does it actually take day to day, year to year to stop a giant event like that from feeling completely overwhelming or just, corporate, especially when you've got those real financial pressures and logistical headaches?
That's the million-pound question, isn't it? Maybe even more, considering the rain. How do you keep that spirit alive at that scale? Something to think about.